thanks to our past experience, we are able to chat and still to feel this connection, this how to say, I have to say, wonderful feeling being connected. Even this pandemic is going on already for almost 1 year. But the young people who are growing and educating now, especially in the arts fields, different arts fields, and in music, of course, they are losing already the second study year, not having direct contact with their professors, not having direct contact with the audiences, not failing on the stage, not having this feeling which I explained before as a joke. And I think that we should help them as we can to overcome it, and of course to grow also in this time. And that's why it's so important that we give them opportunity to play, to perform, of course also to practice. They have to practice at home. They practice on Skype, on Zoom, and other tools. Thanks God we have them now. Because when I started with EFA, the most advantage tool was telefax. Yeah, I'm sorry, it was 90. So 1990. So now we are really responsible to help them to survive this difficult period, and to give them some light in the end of the tunnel with regular concerts, with limited or even without audience, with online connections, with regular fees, with all the support that our institutions, companies, festivals can do for them. Otherwise, they will lose at least 2 schools, or maybe even if the third wave is coming late in the autumn of 21, even the third year of the education. And this can be deadly for most of them. Because as you know, you need, of course, to work hard, but then you need confrontation with your colleagues, with the audience. You have to do mistakes and you have to learn. And without live performing, this is not possible. So we do things like this. We will see short movie 30 seconds later. Oh, I'm now in the dark because I have automatic lamp. I'm sorry, but I hope you see me. What we are doing is that even if we cannot, now we are in complete lockdown in Slovenia, so concerts are not allowed. But we do concerts online, live concerts, or recorded concerts for the special edition. We will do on the 16th of December concert on the birth of the Beethoven again for our audience. Why? Because all these people, they have to have real feeling of performance, and what is even more important, they have to live. When we did this year festival, we were lucky, very lucky, because the pandemia or epidemia in Slovenia was first finished in our countries, let's say, but the rules allowed us to do the festival with limited audiences, but still. Then I saw that how important is to invite artists, to give them the job, not only to those who plays or who act or who paint, but also to all other staff like stage engineers, like all hostesses, like all the people, because they live out of it. And also artists are living out of the fees they are getting for their performances. And now we have very bad situation in different continents. I was talking with American ambassador just in summer when it was divorced in United States, knowing that they were paid only for the first half of April, and after that, zero. So can you imagine what the social crisis is this and economical? So this is our responsibility. Of course, we are not responsible for pandemic, but we are responsible for how we behave and how we protect it. But we are also responsible that we give, according, of course, to our possibilities, the chance to young people in this, how to say, morbid time of no mobility, to perform in our countries and to export them to all the world with online tools. And I think I just wanted to start this. I don't have answers, of course. We are just doing step by step. And we hope that we will not lose too many talents in these 2 school years, or I hope not in 3. So this is the base I wanted to give you for tonight thinking. And I hope that in the future, we will have all the meetings live, meeting each other again with a good glass of wine or gin tonic, and listening live fantastic concerts by young or established artists. And I would like to also mention, when I have the word, thank you for it, also one thing from this morning. It's so important, and now we can see the value of association as is European Festival Association. That we have this meeting online, and that we can offer so many activities to the Festival Academy and to all other, to the Classica and all other activities of FIFA in this time when almost everything is blocked. And all the past work and all the present work and all the decisions made this morning and the future work, of course, it will help, and this is the most important, to those who are most fragile, those are artists. Because to go on stage, you need all the conditions fulfilled. And if you don't have, you cannot give the wonderful or even exquisite performance. So that's my address for you for tonight. If you have wish, you can watch a little, 2 little videos from Ljubljana in COVID time this summer. Maybe some of them you seen them already this afternoon, so I apologize if you see it 2 times when Marusha was with you. But yeah, we did even summer festival in COVID time with 70 events, with all the restrictions, with all the regulations, with all the limitation. But finally it came out as big event, and I am very proud on it. And I'm very proud also on my collaborators and people who are working with me, not only in the festival, but also in the city and in the offices of the state department for this effort. So thank you very much, and I wish to have a real meeting in Ireland in end of May next year.
Thank you, Darko. To feel for 5 minutes how young artists and all the artists feel today. 5 minutes. were very important 5 minutes for me. Catherine, I give the word to you.
Thank you. Darko, would you like us to play a video still for the impression of Ljubljana?
Yes, please.
Okay, we do one. Okay.
Which one?
Which you prefer?
I prefer two. No, please do the second one.
The other one.
Yes.
Please, the other one. We stop.
Okay.
We are trained in the office now to switch between many videos.
Yeah, this is the time. Time is like this.
Yes. It's coming.
I will not comment.
Just the tone. Bravo. Particularly the fireworks. But everything before, even more than the fireworks. Thank you very much, Darko, for your speech and your introduction to this evening that we entitled indeed to dedicate this evening, as we started in, as you remember, in Lisbon, to a platform to give young artists a stage in the framework of IFA summits. And we wanted to continue this new tradition that we started for good reasons that Darko just lined out. So we do this experiment now, and we try to present you a very young artist, a bass from Spain, Manuel Fuentes. He won the Festival Castell de Peralada prize at the prestigious Tenor Viñas competition this year, and he will debut at the Festival Castell de Peralada this year. With us is himself, the artist. Manuel, welcome tonight. And also Oriol Aguilà. Good evening, Manuel.
Hi, everyone.
Fantastic to have you with us. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, Oriol.
Hello, Catherine.
Good to have you with us, and thank you so much for this contribution to tonight's concert. I will not speak any further, Manuel, but we will have a chance maybe to greet you after the concert, and would just like to say, let's start the video. It is recorded specifically for the IFA concert tonight. We hope that the connection and the quality is well enough, Manuel, to give you credit for this concert that you recorded. Thank you very much for that. Let's enjoy the next 15 minutes together.
Mamma mia, il catalogo è questo, delle belle che amò il padre mio, un catalogo che a fattino, osservate, leggete con me, osservate, leggete con me. In Italia 640, in Lavagna 231,
Bravi.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Manuel, there is so many colleagues of all these festivals that of course program so many artists across Europe, across the world, that now listen to you, of course, in a performance on Zoom that can only give a glimpse of what you actually would like to present to the festivals. But maybe could you say in one word the importance for you to have Oriol, to have Peralada, to have festivals that are giving you this chance and opportunity to develop as an artist and to get a stage and to perform as an artist?
What I don't hear you so much better.
My question,
yeah.
Maybe if you like to reply to the question, but you don't need to, but if you like to reply to the question, why are festivals important for you? Are they?
What are the festivals most important for me? Everyone. I just like to improve my technique, my voice, and I would like to be part of all of festivals are important. No, I'm not have priorities. No, everyone is important.
Yes, thank you. And together with Oriol Aguilà, who is here, the director of the Festival de Peralada, who I think has also invited you to be part of this concert and the presentation. Oriol, can you maybe explain in a few words your ambition as a festival to give young artists and to establish even another prize for young artists and for artists in your festivals a platform?
Yes, hi, Catherine, and thank you very much, Manuel, for this recital, inspiring recital. Really, thanks for being brave to make a recital by Zoom, as Catherine said. You are so brave. It's not easy. And I think Judith has a proposal to share.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. If you want to enjoy Manuel's performance in high quality, we will share it to our webpage. It's festivalperalada.com, and I will write also on the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the idea. And Catherine, I would like to say hello to all the colleagues from the festivals who have not seen each other since the assembly in Lisbon, and express our affection and encouragement in these really difficult moments for all. So a pleasure to be together now. Also greet Jan, the president, and Darko, and all the team. Also happy to see Eva here from some months, and all the colleagues. And also, Catherine, congrats for this digital assembly. That is really important to be together. Festivals, we think we are the maximum expression of vitality and creation, and we have to claim for it. And today, recital is for this reason. And our contribution to people's development is essential, and to young people is essential. That's why we are here. And festivals, we are spaces for inspiration, innovation, creativity. Just invest 3 minutes to share with you our young programs and the festival's vision regarding the young people, because we have 34 years of experience, and of course, the festival has seen many stars rise. And seeing how these young talents grow is one of the greatest satisfactions for us. And that's why we are working for these young people and for and with new audiences. This is our focus. And we have 4 focus for young people. One is the resident artist. For some years, we have created the figure of resident artists that share Peralada's values. And during one edition of the festival, this artist has a more active participation during the program with creations, doing special projects and premieres for the Peralada audience. And it's not a requirement, but we tend to invite young artists in the residence artists. Also, a very important program for us is the campus. It's the main educational project of the festival. And attending Campus Peralada, students have a scholarship to practice music and dance. We offer talks, workshops, classes, master classes, dress rehearsals, and other activities with our top artists and dance companies. We created the campus 5 years ago, focused especially on the young talents based in the land, kilometer zero, proximity. The aim is that the young students of the artistic disciplines that the festival programs, such as opera, dance, can also live firsthand the rehearsals of these artists. You have to imagine that in our land, in our territory, the Costa Brava, this is the north of Catalonia, the north of Spain, there is not a great capital close. Therefore, we have a deficit in infrastructures dedicated to arts and music. And our vocation is to these young talents of the land, because if they have near important festival, we have to offer the possibility to be part of Peralada. And you can imagine that for a young dance student to have the opportunity to be part on a master class with Carlos Acosta or Villar Valet Lausanne or a great piano artist, this can be decisive to reinforce his or her vocation. And that's the idea of the campus. During these 5 last years, around 2,000 young people has been part of the campus, 2,000 people. And also, we would like to share with you the Carmen Mateo Award, Young Opera and Dance European Artist, Carmen Mateo Award, which the EFA also collaborate with, and many thanks for the EFA support for this award. It was created in memory of our founder, Carmen Mateo, the philanthropist who who dreamed the festival, and is an award to recognize excellence and consolidate the beginning of very promising careers with European vocation and scope. This is very important for us, European vision, and is an important economic amount that must be invested in the project and consolidate the future perspective of the winner. We have an international jury who decides the winner. 1 year is opera and 1 year is dance. And the first winner was a young Russian dancer, Maria Khorieva. She's 19 and she's the principal dancer of the Mariinsky Ballet. And next Friday, we will present in Barcelona the 2nd edition. The focus will be opera, and between EFA, we will thank your dissemination of this really important award, because it's an important amount of money, 30,000 euros, and also the invitation to participate in a future edition of the festival. So in this European vision. And finally, the most important, because it's the reason that we are here today, our 4th focus is the collaboration with the Barcelona's Viñas Singer Award competition, and the reason where we meet Manuel Fuentes. We are talking about one of the most important young singer competitions in the world, in homage to Francesc Viñas, one of the most famous Catalan and Spanish tenors during the late 19th century at the beginning of the 20th. very famous for his performances of Richard Wagner's operas. As you know, all of you, the Barcelona's traditions in great voices, Montserrat Caballé, Victoria de Los Angeles, Jaume Aragay, Josep Carreras, and so on. And this award is linked to Barcelona and the Gran Teatre del Liceu, of course, who organize the award, but also the most important opera houses in the world, because the semi-final take place in Milan La Scala, Royal Opera House, London, Metropolitan Opera House, New York, Bolshoi, Moscow, etc., etc., etc. And the final is in Barcelona, the Gran Teatre del Liceu. And in this context, the award jury rewards a young artist with a performance in our festival. The 2020 winner is the Spanish bass Manuel Fuentes. That is why I am introducing Manuel today. And we hope you will enjoy it and support this great young talent. And next summer, Manuel will debut at the Festival Castell de Peralada. So, Manuel, the floor is yours next summer in our festival. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you presentially in Peralada very, very soon to enjoy Manuel presentially. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel, once again for allowing us this performance tonight. And thank you, Oriol, for this introduction of, I think, this exceptional work that the Peralada Festival is doing, and all these initiatives that you are developing, not only for the city and for the festival and local artists, but for the European vision and for international collaboration as such. And I see, Darko, you are raising the hand for a question that you would like to put or a comment?
It's not question, it's invitation. We will see also Manuel in Ljubljana, I think.
What a wonderful reaction.
Fantastic, Darko.
Thank you, Darko, so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Here we go. In the chat, more candidates can join Darko for a tour. From Spain to Ljubljana. Which cities are from Spain to Ljubljana that Manuel will stop? Which is the slow touring concept, I guess we all have to learn in these Corona times. So let's think about that. Before we come to the, is anybody else, I should ask actually, before we come to the next agenda point on the program, is anybody else willing or happy to take the floor? Any comments or questions? Sam, please.
Hello, this is Sam speaking from Finland. So I'm a research fellow for the IFA. There's a pretty maybe complex question on the chat. This is for Manuel, for you. It's both in English and Spanish. If you want to answer in your native language, that's okay, fine. I'm sure either me or someone else can translate. You can find it from the chat. It's about describing your experiences as a young artist in Europe at these pandemic times, just out of interest. How have you found the situation, and how do you consider the importance and activity of your contacts in Europe or Spain in these times? Are they more active, more important than before? Maybe you can describe that.
It's for me the question, no, Sam? I think I began a professional career of singing science for 1 year, 2 years, not at all. And I think it's better to begin a career here in Spain at first, and later or simultaneous at the same time. You may go abroad and know other cultures in lyric or other type of structure of performances or something like that. But I think it's better begin a career in Spain, in my country, and later began to fly and acting in another countries. I think it's the best option.
Thank you, Manuel. Start small and grow international. Start local, not small, but start local and grow international. Yes. Okay, if there is not any further questions to Manuel or to Oriol, I would proceed. We will have a second concert of 10-15 minutes in a second from a young talent from the Western Balkan countries, from Serbia. But before, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight, that is Norman Lebrecht. Norman Lebrecht will speak to us about a very relevant topic that I think many of you are concerned with, what classical music has gained, not lost, but gained from COVID. Maybe to briefly introduce you, Norman, welcome to this group of festival directors here that you are meeting tonight. Norman is a British commentator on music and cultural affairs, a novelist, and the author of classical music gossip blog Slipped Disc. He was a columnist of the Daily Telegraph and assistant direct editor of the London Evening Standard, and on BBC Three, Norman presented Lebrecht Live beginning in 2000 and the Lebrecht Interview series. He won the 2002 Whitebread Award for the first novel for The Song of the Names, and he also writes a column for the magazine Standpoint. So there is a lot of insights, I think, that Norman, you not only write about, but you can also speak about, and that is why I think we invited you for tonight. There's many directors here around the table from all across the world, mainly Europe, but all across the world, that are dealing with music. So I guess you speak to a very specialized public. There is also artists around the table that are playing and making and composing music. I'm very happy to have you with us, to have this kind of meta view that you have, I guess, on what classical music has gained from COVID, according to your opinion. Can I give you the floor for the next 10-15 minutes?
With pleasure. Good evening, everybody. It's very, very good to be with you. It's extremely good to see you all at your homes and see what gadgets you've got on top of your television sets and other things that one wouldn't normally discover until I knew you all better. For those of you who don't know me, I have a little bit of a reputation as a Jeremiah. I'm the one that is generally supposed to be bringing the bad news. And this resulted from the American translation of one of my books. In English, it was called When the Music Stops. It was the first history of the classical music business, but the Americans translated it as Who Killed Classical Music? And when I saw the spine, it said on the spine, Who Killed Classical Music? Norman Lebrecht. So that gave me a little bit of an unfortunate reputation, but as you will discover in the next few minutes, I am far from being a pessimist. On the contrary, I'm very optimistic about the future of classical music. And I think for all that we are suffering under COVID, for all that we've seen our world overturned and challenged and threatened and shattered, for all that lives have been disrupted, for all the people who are actively suffering, for all the people that we have lost, for all of this, I think COVID presents the greatest opportunity that we've seen in classical music since the end of the Second World War. What I want to talk about is the benefits of COVID, the things that we can change, the things that we can improve, the things that COVID has broken and which don't really need to be put together again. So let me give you a little list, first of all, of everything that COVID has destroyed. And we all know what they are. Firstly, these are all our major worries, right? Firstly, audience. Is the audience going to come back? Is the whole of the audience going to come back? I think we know the answer to that. It's no. We know that the upper segment of the audience, the wealthier segment, the over 70s, are not going to come back in the same numbers as they did before. They, in part, because it's no longer a necessity. They ask themselves, is it necessary to go to the festival? Is it necessary to go to the concert? I'll be safer staying at home. And in part because they've got out of the habit and because their social lives have changed during COVID. So there is a proportion of the audience that we will never see again. There will be a gap in our halls and in our open spaces, in our arenas, that we are not going to be able easily to fill. That's the bad news. We'll come to the good news later. Secondly, the content of our performances, the programs, what's actually in them. In the period that we had, in the window of opportunity that we had between early summer and late autumn, when we did have concerts and we did have operas in certain places around the world, the programs had to change because we were told we couldn't perform for more than 90 minutes. So we got used to performing for more than 90 minutes. And guess what? The audiences liked it, especially the younger people in the audience. They also liked the times at which they performed. So that's going to have to change. The way that we presented performances pre-COVID will not be the same after COVID. And that is a huge opportunity to rethink everything that we do. Thirdly, the leadership issue. During the COVID period, the role of music director, the icon, the idol of music director has been shattered. Most music directors have been a long way away from their orchestras, their organizations, their festivals. They've been able to do very, very little to influence events. They've lost the support of their musicians, and questions have been asked why we need this figurehead. What does this figurehead bring to the music and bring to our organization? Perhaps we would be better with something other than a music director. These questions are being discussed everywhere that music is made. Fourthly, the infrastructure. Classical music is built on a network of performing organizations and facilitators. Many of those facilitators are artist agencies that supply us with the talent with which we are able to run a festival. During the course of COVID, we've lost a number of agencies, including what was the biggest agency in the world, Columbia Artists, better known as CAMI. They disappeared overnight, and guess what? Nobody missed them. But the infrastructure is shaken because something that we relied upon from the dawn of memory, not just our memory, from the dawn of our parents' memory, is not there anymore. We wake up in the morning and we say, where's CAMI? It's gone. So what happens now? How do we replace that? Fifth is the question of talent and the question of festivals, where we have a generation of high performers who do not perform high. What do I mean by that? We have a generation of performers who, in the world of classical music, are familiar to us all. We know who they are. They're all the headliners. They're everybody that we think of as a, quote, star. But if you step outside and you ask anybody on the street, or cultured people in cultured places, have you heard of X, have you heard of Y? They'll say no. To them, there are hardly any classical musicians who have star status, who have been heard of anywhere outside of the lily pond of classical music. You can count them easily on the fingers of one hand. Lang Lang for various reasons, Daniel Barenboim for various reasons, not necessarily for musical reasons, but for other broader reasons, and maybe Anna Trebko, maybe Anne-Sophie Mutter, maybe one other. But these are what we have in terms of global stars, and they haven't attracted the attention that we needed during this period of suffering, during this COVID time. So we need to re-examine what we think of as stars and how we regenerate a system that can produce more and perhaps better and more relevant stars. And the festival sector itself, those festivals that managed to get going this year were absolutely heroic. They were not necessarily the ones that we thought were going to be heroes. I would never have thought of Salzburg as a leader of our activities, of a leader of progress, but they were incredibly brave and they succeeded and achieved what they did. And we have to be very proud of them. And the rest, some had to close down, some functioned in small ways, but in those small ways that they functioned, we learned things that will sustain us in the years to come and that will enable us to do things better than we do them now. So that's the bad news. You can relax now. You can have a drink. This is where it starts to get better. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost the upper segment of our audience. We have lost the older people who have been the largest demographic sector, the largest group of ticket buyers that we've had. We've lost them and they're not coming back. What are we going to do about it? Well, firstly, we ask ourselves, do we miss them? Yes, of course we miss them. We're fond of some of them. They may be our grandparents. They may be our neighbors. They may be the people who are giving the largest donations to our festivals, to our institutions. Yes, of course we're going to miss them. But what's the priority? We need to replace them. How do we replace them? There are two solutions. Both of them are at hand, and both of them arise from what we've been seeing during COVID. And for this, I will move on quickly to the change in programming and come back to the solution of audience. During COVID, we've had 90-minute concerts. Some of them have been wonderful. Many of them have been instantly repeated, not because they were an encore. Oh, this was such a wonderful concert, we're going to give it to you. We started at 6 o'clock, we're going to give it to you again immediately at 8 o'clock. No, they did it for a simple economic reason, because the governments were telling us you could only have 30%, 40%, 50% in the hall. And so in order to cover the costs of the concert, we've given the concert twice. And what do you know? The public came twice. They liked it. They liked the idea of having a repeat concert on the same evening. They also like the shifting of times. For whom have we been giving concerts? For whose benefit have we been giving concerts at 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the evening? What has dictated that time as being Holy Writ? Was it something that God said to Moses on Sinai, or was it something that the orchestra union said, this is what our members will like best? I suspect it might be the latter. Whatever the case, we have acquired a new flexibility. We've acquired a flexibility of giving concerts at different times and giving concerts at perhaps unexpected and unpredictable times. Now, this is a wonderful thing for all sorts of reasons. It has an economic benefit. We're giving shorter concerts, which means less rehearsal, which means we're spending less money on rehearsal time. It also means the same rehearsal can produce 2 concerts in the same evening, which is excellent. It allows the restaurants and other economic activities that go on around concert halls and around festivals to have 2 session times. People come out up from the first concert, they came out from the second concert, and the restaurateurs will be happy and they'll be able to recover some of their losses from COVID. But more importantly than that, we have the ability to attract young people because we are moving within their life rhythms. One of the things that has happened that I've observed and that others have confirmed to me during this COVID period is that the way that people work, we all know it's changed. Everybody's working at home. That's why I can see the objects that you've got on top of your television sets. Everybody's working at home, which means everybody's going to go out, not at the same time as we did before. It's no longer 9 to 5 or 9:30 to 5:30 or 9 to 6. Everybody's going out at different times, and they demand flexibility. They will demand that in the times that they go out to their entertainments, to their culture, to their evenings out. And so classical music can actually be the first to respond to the new flexibility that younger audiences will be demanding once the pandemic is over. The second opportunity, and the responses that I've been getting from this idea have been extremely positive. I've talked to a lot of people in my children's generation who don't go to concerts, but who would go to concerts if they were at a different time and if they weren't so long. If they were shorter. Now, why do people of my children's generation not go to concerts? One of the biggest issues is this. We've known it, we've talked about it, we've done nothing about it. When people come into their 20s and they start forming relationships and eventually they settle down and they have children, what are they going to do with the children? Why do we not understand that we lose the generation between 25 and 35 or between 25 and 40 because they are having children and they have no childcare? Why are we not stepping in to that opportunity and saying to people, when you come to a concert, we provide childcare? Is that revolutionary? Of course it's not revolutionary. The most conservative organizations, the churches, the synagogues, the mosques in our society, all understand this and all do this. When families come with their children to church, to synagogue, to mosque, they put their children in the children's service for an hour or two, and the parents can perform their acts of worship and then reclaim their children. And actually, they like their children a lot better afterwards, and vice versa, because they've had a break. This, for our world, for classical music, is a huge opportunity. We haven't looked at it yet. We haven't tackled it yet. I think we're on the threshold of attracting a new audience, which will augment and supplement the ones we lose, and will actually be more productive for our activity in future. The leadership role has been a disaster. We've all known that music directors are getting paid more for doing less. This has been happening for the past 20 years. Music directors give less and less time to their institutions or their festivals because they occupy that position in 2 or 3 or even 4 organizations simultaneously, and so they're divided, and we're not getting full value. Now, COVID has shown us that what you need is somebody who is on site. You need to be flexible. You need to be ready to give a concert when the authorities say a concert can be given. We don't know this lockdown will lift. We don't know when the next lockdown will come. There's going to be a vaccine. We don't know how effective it's going to be. We're going to be living with COVID for at least the next 2 years, and that is a conservative estimate. Some scientists say to me 3 to 4 years. Whatever it is, the next period, we're going to have to be extraordinarily flexible about everything that we do. The only way that we can be flexible is by having musicians who are accessible, who are available, who are with us and not in Japan or in Russia or anywhere else where your music director might be when you need him. The solution that glimmers is either that we abolish this inflated and probably unnecessary role and replace it with particular conductors that you work with on a regular basis over a season, or that we, all of us, concentrate on drawing our conductors from within our locality, from people that we can call on to come at the drop of a baton and conduct tomorrow. So that relationship between music director and organization is going to change, and it is pretty certain that the role of music director, as we have known it, is not going to continue. Are we going to miss them? I leave that to you to say. Myself, I think we can move much more productively into a much brighter future without having the tin gods that we have called maestro for so very long. When we look at the other organizational aspects, I know it's heresy. I know I'm smashing idols. I'm sorry. But you know, we can live without idols. We can reinvent the world, and we're actually having to reinvent the world. What we're seeing is that out of the ruins of the various agencies that have collapsed, new agencies have arisen, boutique agencies that work in a very, very different way, in a way that's much more collaborative with performing organizations and less that's focused on mutual need rather than necessarily the non-artist need. What I've also seen during this period is that agencies have become much more talent sensitive. They're assigning much more new talent, young talent. They know that the older generation of so-called classical stars has failed, and that we need quite quickly to move on to the next generation. And the next generation is coming through. We are seeing young talent of absolutely prodigious potential. And that's why we need to focus our festivals as showcases. Given that nobody outside of the older generation of the classical world knows the names of the former stars, we can move quite easily into an age of new talent and new stars and regenerate ourselves and our art form. Finally, this other flexibility that we've acquired during COVID has been quite a wonder to me. I mean, one of the things that I have written about over the past 30, 40 years in classical music is how conservative it is, how bogged down, how fixed in something called tradition it was. You know what Gustav Mahler said when he came to Vienna? He said, this thing that you call tradition, it's just an excuse for schlamperei. There is no English word for schlamperei. I'm sure you all know what it is. It's just bad. It's bad practice. It's laziness. It's being soft when you need to be sharp. And we need to be sharp, and we need to be quick, and we need to think proactively how we can get music out most efficiently to the greatest number of people, quite often in settings, in venues that we haven't been in before. Another of the effects of COVID has been that large concert halls closed down very quickly. Government said close, they closed. They didn't think, is there any way around this? Is there somewhere we could be performing at the back? Is there some wrinkle to it? No, they are part of the apparat. They are doing their jobs. The government said close, they closed, that's it. Smaller venues, much more flexible, said, we can work this. We can do things. If we can't do it in our own hall, then we'll find a garden to do it in while it's sunny. And if we can't find a garden, then we'll put up a tent, and we will do things in a much more improvisatory way. And some of these things have been phenomenally successful. I've seen opera festivals this summer that have taken place in people's gardens. Literally in people's gardens with 40 chairs and opera singers turning out and performing a work. It's wonderful. I mean, isn't that what a festival ought to be? I've seen people doing pop-ups. Fine, that worked in this person's garden. We can take it to somebody else's garden and do it somewhere else. Festivals can be flexible. Festivals can move from Ljubljana to the next town in Slovenia, just like that. They get on a bus, they move. They do a pop-up. These things beckon towards us as we become more flexible with our timings, as we become more flexible with our content. The things that we do can be so much more mobile. We have in London an old recital hall called Wigmore Hall. Some of you may know it. He has a beautiful hall. It's built in the most perfect fin de siècle style by the Bechstein Piano Company in 1905, and it is one of the world's premier recital halls. And it had to close down, but its director is Irish and inventive, and his name's John Gilhooly, and he wasn't going to take orders from the British government. He announced in September, come what may, there are going to be 100 events in my concert hall, come what may. If they let us do it with audience, we'll do it with audience. And if not, we'll do it with cameras and we'll put it online. But one way or another, between now and Christmas, there will be 100 performances. I was one of the performers. So I feel a slight sense of ownership about this. But this is the sort of initiative that we need. And this is the sort of initiative that I think COVID has engendered in us. When I talk to the younger managers and to the younger artistic directors, I'm seeing greater flexibility than I've ever seen before. When I talk to the older ones, I'm not. But this may be that we are coming into a time of generational change, that a generation of directors, artistic directors, music directors is going to move on, and COVID is going to produce us with a new landscape, a landscape that is going to be young, flexible, mobile, inventive, improvisatory, reaching out to untapped audiences, alert to the major concerns of society, non-institutional, probably non-organizational, but incredibly fulfilling. I don't like to feel as if I'm talking in any way idealistically, but I feel idealistic about it. I do think that we are on the threshold of the most exciting opening that we have seen in my lifetime in the fields of classical music and opera. Thank you very much indeed for listening.
Thank you very much, Norman. I still don't know how to really applaud on the Zoom meetings. It's by show of hands, like Sophie does, it's by clapping hands. Thank you for this contribution. This panorama that you give, of course, from so many different perspectives of what the situation of a crisis has somehow delivered to classical music. Are there any questions, any comments, any concerns that somebody would like to bring to the floor and take the floor? Then please unmute yourself. You have the chance now to speak to Norman. Otherwise, I can hardly warm-heartedly recommend you the blog Slip Disc that I mentioned before. It's a good piece of reading and being somehow kept informed about what you think is going on in classical music in a very sharp way, short way. Good read.
I'm seeing on the comments quite a few people are approving of flexibility and availability. Why do we want global stars? Don't we need more local stars?
There was one question indeed in the chat, and there was some reply on it.
Yep, go on.
For the rest, Norman, I think in the chat itself, there were not questions directly asked to you. That's why I opened the floor once again now to everyone here to take the floor.
Okay.
If this is not the case, Laura, before we go on and finish this evening, this part of the evening with yet one other concert, Laura, from Al Bustan Festival in Lebanon.
I'm a bit worried that we've lost more than we've gained. Like, I'm not so convinced of the advantages, you know, that the opportunities, yes, the opportunities to open up, to connect with other countries, to, you know, all these things. But I feel like we've lost more than we've won. And also some countries have more advantages than others because they have a bigger concentration of artists and art, which is innate in their countries. I'm thinking of Italy, basically all the European countries are very rich in culture and artists, and you can be self-sufficient with artists from your own country and without anybody having to fly. And you have orchestras, you have so many orchestras. I mean, yeah, that's my comment.
I can see, I take your point. I can see that for Lebanon, you don't have enough artists living locally and you may have to import them from somewhere. No, I can absolutely see that point. But at the same time, you could be cooperating. There's a wonderful festival in Cyprus. And it's one, you know, that's no big deal to do pop-ups from Beirut to Nicosia. So I think these opportunities are all there. When I'm talking, I mean, what some of the things that I'm talking about are not just unique to classical music. There are other social habits that are being killed off during this pandemic. I think cinema is going to be devastated by COVID, not just the film industry, which has been put on ice for 2 years, but the habit of people going to cinema, which was largely a habit of older people. That's not going to happen again. Why would you put yourself in a large shed with other people at a time when COVID is still around? So they don't have the flexibility that we have. We have this opportunity to move into new areas, to move towards new audiences, and to find different ways of programming. I mean, when we're talking of 90-minute programming, one of the things that we have been stuck with, our parents, our grandparents have been stuck with, the meat and 2 vegetable concert, yeah? The 3-course concert. Whatever it was, you know, the hors d'oeuvre, the main course, and the compote. And nobody has changed that really. But it's going to change now, because if we're doing 90-minute concerts, there's only room for at most 2 pieces. And so what are we going to lose? Maybe we'll lose the concerto, or maybe we'll lose that whole unnecessary overture thing, which the space that we used for commissioning young composers that we didn't really want to hear in a full piece, so we gave them a 10-minute piece to start the concert with. All of this enables us to revitalize the sector. The pieces are being shifted on the board, and the pattern that we will get at the end of it is different, and I think it's going to be much brighter. Sorry, there was a gentleman who was doing.
Thank you, Norman.
Thank you.
Is there another gentleman you saw that was raising?
Somebody, I think it was, he was waving. He may be waving goodbye.
Maybe he's waving to say goodbye. Thank you so much, Norman. We are going to conclude this evening, and we are going to come back because we recorded this session, of course, and hopefully we'll be able to share your contribution also with those audiences that could not be here with us tonight. So thanks a lot. We will read you back on your blog and hopefully be in touch with this festival's community.
Look, give me feedback. Let's continue this discussion. I think we have an opening here. I think, and I'm not the only one who's aware of this. I discussed this with many colleagues. I think we have this window of opportunity between now and the spring to renew everything that we do. Thank you so much for listening to me this evening. Thank you, Catherine, for inviting me.
Thank you, Norman. And indeed, these Zoom times offer us the opportunity to continue the conversation. So maybe we see you back after Christmas in the new year to have these windows of opportunities to discuss them more concretely. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Now let's conclude this evening, and we do this with another concert. I would like to give Jovanka, where is Jovanka? She's with us, the floor to introduce the concert briefly and the work that Jovanka is doing for many, many years in the region, in the Western Balkan region and all across Europe, particularly dedicating her work to young artists. Jovanka, please take the floor.
Good evening to everybody. I enjoyed this conversation. Please, there is a trailer. Yes, can you hear it? With the sound.
Petar as a little souvenir.
Thank you for this short trailer. I would like to say that ArtLink Association and Festival has been devoted to promotion of young talents since 2004. And this, what you saw, just it was the part of this year festival program, ArtLink Festival program at Belgrade Fortress. And the orchestra at the stage, it is Camerata Balkanica youth orchestra composed by the most talented young artists from the Western Balkan region. And it serves as an incubator that enabled the professional improvement of those young artists who are in the orchestra. And I'm very happy that we have already developed the partnerships with different festivals, partners, mentors that contribute to the professional development of young artists from the Balkans. I'm happy to announce that we have a new cooperation with the Belgium Chamber Orchestra Cascofil and with the conductor, Mr. Benjamin Pamhout, who actually conducted 3 concerts at the festival with different programs. Those 3 girls that you had the opportunity to see are very talented violinists. The musicians are between 13 and 22, 3 in this ensemble. But also ArtLink has an annual award for the most promising young artist in Serbia since 2005. And until now, we have more than 15 laureates of that award. I would like to present tonight, this is a short introduction for the concert that you are going to listen. This is a young cellist, Petar Pejčić from Serbia, who won an award for the most promising young artist in Serbia 2 years ago. But I'm very happy and very proud that he recently got the award of Pablo Casal's Foundation. It was, I think, last week. And also the performance that you are going to see now is the performance from the competition in Graz from February this year. We wanted to have live stream from the City Hall, but the conditions with COVID now didn't allow us to do that. So I hope that you will enjoy the performance of this young cellist who has been in our Young Talents program since 2013. So he played a lot of concerts. He performed also abroad. I'm happy to say that we have cooperation with Ljubljana Festival as well, and that every year 2 artists from our program have the opportunity to perform as a part of their cycle, Young Virtuosi. So this is our short story. Please enjoy the performance of Petar Pejčić.
Very much, Jovanka, for presenting, proposing, introducing this young cellist to us. I hope you had a better connection than me. Mine was probably here with my hotspot phone, not at all ideal, so apologies for that. I hope that you had a better enjoyment of the concert. Oh, fantastic, I see some thumbs up, so that's good. Thank you, Jovanka. Would you like to add some notes about Piotr? No, not Piotr. What's his? Petar. Piotr. Jovanka.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I hope that the sound was okay. Young cellist is really very good, and I'm happy that we have so many talents in the region. And this is not what I say, this is what other people say. So we have invited many artists from all around the world the last 15 years to work with the artists, because we always have our unique productions at the festival. And we always create our own ensembles and give the artists opportunity to perform with their mentors. And I mentioned today in the afternoon this cooperation with Višekruna countries. We had many different artists coming and playing. Now we have a cooperation with Belgian conductor, Benjamin Janković, and I hope this cooperation will continue. And I'm looking forward to new opportunities for our young talents, and hope that festivals around Europe will find interest to cooperate with us on the promotion of young talents. I think it is very exciting. For me, it is much more exciting to promote a young artist and to listen to somebody who is not very famous, who has this passion and who has this fantastic desire to play the music. And I think this passion that young artists share with the audience this is something that cannot be replaced with anything else. So I'm very passionate about young talents and hope that many of you will join our club. And I hope that IPA will continue to promote young talents. So thank you very much, Jovanka. And of course we will do this already in Galway, hopefully in June next year, when the pandemic allows us to meet and be together again. And actually this is the time now to officially wave you goodbye for this General Assembly online. And it actually is the moment, and Gerd and Audrey are here with me, to hand over the flag now to the next host. As you remember, the good old tradition. So now we cannot hand it over yet for you, but half of it for 2022. But we should hand it over once again to our colleague in Galway for 2021, and hopefully see you there in June, if this pandemic allows it. As we said this morning, maybe have even a second scenario for after June in autumn to come together, and then 2022 in Yerevan. For now, it's time to say goodbye and see you at the Night Hotel, which is the after party. There is a performance for you ready now. For all those that have booked the tickets, you can go online and we can share. I don't know if we need to share a link to the hotel. We will share it with you now here in the chat. It's a performance of 1 hour that you can enjoy. It's a fantastic performance, and you can still order free tickets on the website that we will once again share with you as well. And after that 1 hour, we will meet again and have our after performance drinks together. I know, Mira, you are always part of those drinks. I expect you in 1 hour back at the Night Hotel bar. And it was very, very lovely to see you all. Ibrahim, it's a great pleasure to have done yoga with you and to finish the evening with you, I have to say. Please stay all well and safe. Thank you, Manuel, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Oriol, for the presentation. And see you later in the night bar or in one of our next Zoom meetings. Thanks.